India China, but since some students were asking for Israel Palestine, we'll discuss Israel Palestine today. Okay, and then we'll start China, India China. Okay. Okay, I will share the screen first. Okay, so is the screen visible, students? Is the screen visible? Israel-Palestine conflict. One minute. Is the screen visible, students? Shall I move forward? Hello? PPT not visible. So is it visible now? One minute, I'm not able to view the chat. Yes, so we'll start the class. Okay. See, can't hear. See, now only I'm speaking. I'm not speaking. Okay. Okay, we'll start the class. Okay. See, see, in Middle East, already we know there are three power centers are there. So one is Saudi Arabia, the leader of the Sunni Muslims. And then the other one is the Iran, who is the leader of the Shia Muslims. The third biggest power, important power is this is it audible now? Is it audible? Audio, video, is it clear? Yes, sir. Okay. Okay. See, the third power center is Israel. And note that this Israel-Palestine issue is a issue between the Jewish community and the Arab community. Okay, okay, we'll move. Okay. So it is the problem between the Jewish community and the Arab community. Okay, so immediately questions. So you can ask all your questions at the end. If you have any audio video problem, you just send a message in chat box. Is it audible now? See, now only I'm speaking. Okay, so okay, it is audible. Okay, we'll continue the class. Okay, if you have any audio video problem, you just send a message. Okay, otherwise we'll move forward. Okay, so you can put all your question at the end of the class. Okay, so this is the problem between the Jewish community and the Arab community. So that you have to note. And note that this Jewish community, these two people doesn't like each other. But the issue is both belong to the same group only. Okay, so both belong to the same root only. They belong to the same soil only, but they are fighting for the same piece of land. And they have a complex and contested history. Complex history means we can't easily find out what is the real problem, what is the real issue between the Israeli people and the Palestinian people. Okay, contested history means two, three versions are there. Everybody have their own version. It is not easy to find out what is the original history. Everybody have their own version. Okay, and note that there are three Abrahamic religions are there. So one is the Judaism, the Jewish. Okay, the second one is Christianity, and third one is Islam. See, all the three religions were belonging to the same root only, same root but different branches of it. That's all. Okay, but the root is same. Okay, and note that all the three religions, they believe in holy books. They are Kitabiya religion. Kitabiya religion means they have their holy book. They strictly follow their holy book. Okay, so Judaism, Christianity, and also Islam. Okay, and note that all the three religions, you have to note that they are they believe in messengers of God. Okay, so for the Jewish people, Moses was there. For the Christianity, we have Jesus. For the Islam, we have Prophet Muhammad. Okay, so the people who believed in Moses and settled with Moses, they are Jewish community. The people who recognize Moses but finally believe and settle with Jesus, they are Christianity people. The people who recognize Moses, recognize Jesus, but finally accept and settle with Prophet Muhammad, they are Islamic community. So this we know. So that means all the three people are from the same category, same root only. So that you have to know. But they are fighting for the same piece of land. For the Israeli people, it is the land which was promised by the God itself. Okay, so in the first Old Testament, you might have read. If you know the story, Moses story means you know. Moses, who belongs to Israel, that means Jewish community, Christianity, and Islam all belong to same root. They are same group of people only. At different period, different religion came out of the same origin. Okay, the people who believe in Moses, settled with Moses, they are Jewish community. The people who believe, who accept, that means who recognize Moses, but accept and finally believe in Jesus, they are Christianity people. The people who recognize Moses, recognize Jesus, but finally approve and follow Prophet Muhammad, they are Islamic community. So all the three community have same origin only. So this is the point, and they are fighting for the same piece of land. That dispute only we are going to discuss today. Okay, so both have contested history, they have their own version. So this is what we are discussing. Okay, and for the Israel, you see, for the Israel people, it is the land which is promised by the God. Israel means the land promised by the God. So in the Old Testament, Moses saved a lot of slaves from the Egyptian Pharaoh, rescued them, and then crossed the Red Sea, and then showed this particular land. So those people only, they are Jewish community. Okay. So Israeli people, you have to note that it is a land which is promised by the God. God itself have shown this. You people go and live here like that. For the Palestinian people, you have to note that it is a land where lot of ancestors were living. For thousands of years, they were living in that particular land. See, forgetting the fact that both belong to the same root, they are now fighting with each other. See, pharaohs means they are the kings of Egypt, the emperor of Egypt, the Egyptian civilization. Okay, so the Egyptian pharaoh had a lot of slaves. Moses went there, rescued this pharaoh, slaves from these pharaohs, and then crossed the Red Sea and shown this Israel land. Okay, so this is what you have to know. Okay, so this is general understanding. See, this and all, no need to note down. Okay, so just listen. Okay, so this is something like a story. All you have to do is just to listen. Okay, see where you have to note down, I will tell you. Okay, so note that all the three community belong to the same group. So this why you have to write it, you have to keep it in your mind. So don't write everything in the paper, you have to observe. Okay, so that is important. So so now you have to note that today after 2000, now also you have to note that these two group of people are fighting with each other. If you dig very deeply, means you have to find out wherever this this Israel is a country which was, what are the three communities are? See, again and again you are asking me to repeat. We are only in the first slide. Okay, so see, three communities means Jewish people, Christianity, Islam. Okay, so don't raise your hand now. Okay, don't raise your hand now. If you have any doubt, means you can ask me at the end of the class. Okay, so don't block the classes. Okay, so so now you have to know that the state of Israel, the Jewish state of Israel, was founded in 1947-48 during the period after the end of the Second World War. So before that, the state of Israel was not there. Okay, so other students, see, if you are interrupting movements, some students, others, lot of students are listening. Okay, so you are blocking them also. Okay, you are not allowing the class to. PPT is frozen means I have not done anything. Okay, so I am in the first page only. Okay, so I am still in the first page. Revati, what see? 1 minute. See, let us be clear. Okay, so we have to move. We have to move forward. No. So if we keep on asking questions, means how can we move forward? Okay. See, whatever. See, you just listen to the class. I will go slowly. Whatever you can make it, just make a note of that. Otherwise, listen. Okay. If you have any doubt, means you can ask at the end of the class. I am ready to answer. Okay. So don't interrupt me. Let the class continue. Other students are feeling bad, no? Okay. So a lot of complaints are there. Questions means immediately, questions means at the end of the class, you have to ask it. Okay. If it is a direct class, live class means we can be two-way interaction can be there. It is easy to continue, but this is blocking the entire class. Okay. So let's move. Okay. So this Israel was founded after Second World War. When the state of Israel was founded, people from 106 countries came and settled. The Jewish people from 106 countries, they came and settled in Israel. So that you have to know. Okay, and note that out of the 106 countries, the Jewish community from 105 countries, they came to Israel and they said that how badly they were treated in the 105 countries. That means you see in out of 106 countries, in 105 countries, the Jewish community were not treated properly. This is what you should know. Okay, so wherever the Jewish people go, they have been treated very badly. Particularly, we all know during the Second World War in Europe, what happened to the Jewish community. So they were killed. They were killed in Russia. They were killed in Poland. They were killed in Czechoslovakia. Then they are killed in Germany, Netherlands, etc. Wherever the Jewish people are there, the Jewish people were completely eliminated by the Nazi forces. Okay, not only just because of the Nazi, other people also, wherever these Jewish people go, they are getting beaten. See, the point is, I am going to one particular place. Those people are not treating me badly. I mean, they're treating me badly. They're not treating me good. So in that circumstances, and like this, some other people are also having same experience. You can easily say that that particular place is not a good place. It is not a friendly place. But one particular group of people are there, wherever they go, anywhere in the world, in 105 countries, they were treated, they are not treated properly. That means they are mistreated. So in that circumstances, the problem must be with us and these people only. Am I right? Okay. So wherever you go, you are getting into trouble means then you are a problematic person. So that is the understanding. Problematic person means it is not that you have to create problem. See, there is some kind of issue is there with the Jewish community. So first we have to find that. Okay, we have to find that particular thing. Then only we can move forward. Okay, what is the problem with the Israeli people, the Jewish community? See, they are not bad people. Okay, I'm not telling that they are bad people. They are problematic people. But wherever they go, they are getting into trouble. So that means some characters are there for the Israeli people, which invite problems for the Israeli community. See, in my assumption, in my opinion, I will say number one, what is the biggest problem of Israel is this Israeli population are most talented people in the world. Okay. So if talented people means you have to note that these people will outsmart all other people. If somebody is better than us means we don't like them generally. So this is a human psychology. So this may be one particular reason why the Israeli people were not liked by the Jewish community, were not liked by world community. Okay. So they excel in everything. Okay. So just to take the Nobel laureate list, 2/3 of the total Nobel laureate list, not I think more than 3/4, I think 75% are Jewish community. Peace, whether it is a peace prize, whether it is chemistry, biology, whatever it is. Okay, literature, skilled activities, semi-skilled activities, artisans, laborers. These Israeli people will outsmart all. Okay, so they are the best. They are number one in everything. Okay, see, but the question is. According to the modern day belief, everybody are equal, born equal. and are of equal moral worth. So this is the understanding. Okay, everybody are of equal moral worth. Everybody are equal. So you can't, when a two child is born, two child are they are coming to this earth. Okay, so you can't say that this child is a best child, this child is a low class child with low capacity. No, everybody are equal. So when the society brought up, some problem is there because of the problems in the society. The skills and the talent of the people differ. Some people were informed, some people were not informed. Some people have some kind of privilege to learn, study, and improve. Other people doesn't have that kind of opportunity. So because of that, only the difference in talents are there. But the entire Jewish community are talented people. How this can be? So see, if you closely, if you research that, means you can find that these people were minorities, number one. Okay, and you have to note that wherever they go, these people are talented people. No, see, these people are the most that means the most prosecuted people all over the world. Okay, so they are minority people. If they have to live within a majority community, means this minority community have to excel in everything. Otherwise, they will be eliminated. So this is the case. Okay, that means this is nothing but survival tactics. Always you are under trouble. So if you are under trouble, means always you have to be number one. Then only you can survive. Otherwise, it will be difficult to survive. So that's the reason why the Israeli people are always best. See, if they doesn't have any quality or any kind of special skills, means they will be completely wiped off from them. Okay, so this is one of the reasons why Israeli people see. So for example, just imagine. Do you think that we people can beat Usain Bolt in running race in 100 meters? Not possible. No, don't think that it is not possible. Circumstances demand, means we will run twice faster than Usain Bolt. Some dog is chasing us, means what will happen? I will run thrice faster than Usain Bolt. See, if you are under pressure, so adrenaline will be there. So that means if you are under pressure, you have to do or die. Like that situation comes, means you will excel. So even UPSC examination, the people who are very, very desperate, they clear the examination. So you should have a pressure that I have to clear this time. Then only you can clear. So some pressure. So always these Israeli people are always under pressure. So that's why they have to excel. Just this is nothing but survival practice. Just to survive. All they are doing is just survival. Okay. So this is reason number one. And then reason number two is basically this Israeli community, you have to note that they are money lenders. Lending money is their basic activity. In India means basically we are agriculture people. So that is the understanding. Like that Israeli people means money lenders. They own capital. Now also the entire world community, the entire world economy is under Israel control. That means the Jewish, not Israel, Jewish community is controlled. The Jewish community, basically they are money lender. They will lend money for interest rate. And take the Palestinian people are Islamic community majority. So this Islamic community in Islamic, according to Islamic law, lending money is a haram, sinful activity. So in Islam, you have to know that you have to keep your particular portion of your income for giving charity, alms. Alms means for to help the poor people. So you can't find Islamic bank in the world, but everywhere, most of the world banks are under the control of the Jewish community only. Okay, so this may be one of the reasons. See, in the basic quality itself, these two people are different. Okay, Palestinian people hate banking. Israeli people, they are the world bankers. Okay, and note that if Israeli people are involving in banking, means where this banking business will thrive. Just imagine. See, in Chennai, Anna Nagar is one of the posh area. You can't find a single pawnbroker shop in Anna Nagar. Why? Because everybody have money. Then who will go and lend money from the pawnbroker? Nobody will go. This pawnbroking business, that means the gold. If you have to go and mortgage some of your things or gold, whatever it is. This kind of shops will be available only where people are poor. There only this kind of pawn shops, PAWN pawn shops will be popular. Okay, there only the business will thrive. Not in rich area, only in poor areas. And not only that, in poor areas only this mortgage shops will be popular. Why? Because then only people will come for money. They will mortgage something, gold, chain, rings, whatever it is, and then they will get money. and these people will charge more interest rate, and the people cannot pay back the money, then only that particular pawn shop can sell that particular gold for another, that is second business within that particular business, and earn more money. So that means where poor people are, that there only banking business thrive. So you see in Europe during the First World War, Second World War, there was a big economic breakdown was there. So for example, take the case of Germany. After the end of the First World War, the entire German economy went down. So after only Hitler rescued that economy. So that is a different history. Okay, when Hitler found that all the people in Germany are suffering because of finance, no job, that means no employment, price rise was there, no economic productivity. This was the problem. But only family in the poorest region who thrive or very rich were the Jewish community. That's why Hitler had a general hatred towards the Jewish community. So this Jewish community or the money lenders, who are money lenders, basically money lenders, they live in areas where poor people are living. All the people will be there, they will be getting poorer and poorer day by day. But the Jewish community will become richer and richer day by day. So ultimately, it attracts attention. Everybody will be jealous over this Jewish community, and they will hate the Jewish community. So this is another reason why this Jewish community were treated very badly. One is basically they are talented people. They will outsmart all other people. That's why other people doesn't like this Jewish community. To Jewish community people, basically they are money lenders. So that's why nobody likes this Jewish community. And the third thing is, see, whenever two Jewish people meet, before the formation of Israel, I'm telling, whenever two Jewish people meet, see, whenever we people meet, when we part away, when we depart, what we'll say? We'll say goodbye. We'll say that convey our wishes to the family, like that we will say. But you have to note that these Jewish people, what they will say is, when they meet and they move away, that means when they depart, they will say that next time we will meet in Israel. For thousands of years, they were exchanging this kind of business. That means whenever two Jewish people meet and they part away, they will say that next time we will meet in Israel. When Israel was not found, these people were doing this particular thing. That means the point is they don't have a homeland. That is the understanding. Now only after the Second World War, the Jewish people have a separate homeland. Before that, the Jewish people doesn't have a homeland. If somebody doesn't have a homeland, means they are like gypsies. Okay, at least gypsies. For gypsies, the entire world is their home. But for these people, they have a home, but they lost their home. They don't have their original home legitimately. So in that circumstance, that means they don't have an address. That is the understanding. If somebody doesn't have an address, means they will be treated very badly. See, if I am asking where you are belonging, means you will say that I belong to this particular place. I belong to India. I belong to this state. I belong to this district. I belong to this village. Like that, you have to say something. If you are not able to say I belong nowhere, means you are people. See what happened to the Rohingya population in Myanmar. They don't have a state. That's why they are treated very badly. You should have a state. You should have a soil. Unless you don't, a people doesn't have a soil, they don't have rights. So rights is mostly associated with the soil. So I am claiming rights in this land because I belong to this particular soil. Myself, my father, my grandfather, all my ancestors belong to this soil. So I will claim right. Like that, everybody claim right. The Israeli people, so that means the Jewish community's soil is Israel. But the Israel is not there until 1947-48. Okay. Before that, Israel, the state of Israel is not there. They don't have their own. They don't have their home. No home means they are people with no name. That means they with no base. That is the understanding. This is the reason why the Israeli people were treated very badly. That's why. See, I am telling, we are Indians. Wherever we go, we will be identified as Indians only. If somebody asks where you are, means I am from India. Like that, you will say if you are outside India. Means. Even I am telling you, go and settle in US. You can get a citizenship there. Even after 10 generations, your great grandchildren, I'm telling, after thousands of years, they will be always identified as Indian Americans. That Indian, that name, no one can rob it. Okay, so we belong, we have a root. We don't have a root means you will fall down. This is the understanding. The Israeli people doesn't have their own land. The God promised land, now it is not with them. This is the problem. This is the history. Okay. So these are all the reasons why the Israeli people were treated very, very badly. So that's why after, see, and why the state of Israel was founded, I will tell you. See, after the Second World War, what happened is, Second World War came to an end. The Allies won the war. The Nazi forces, fascist forces were defeated. Now, you said all the Jewish people were completely liberated. Now the Jewish people began to think, why we were prosecuted? See, killing one person is okay. Some people may have some bad intention. They will kill other people to steal things or to get some. They may have some kind of intentions. Okay, so that's why people kill each other. Okay, but how can you kill an entire community? A complete whitewashing a particular community. Okay, wiping off the entire community. It is an ethnic cleansing, cultural cleansing. How this is possible? This is, see, this Israeli people, the thinkers are there, no? So they began to think, why wherever we go, we are getting beating. We are getting the beating, number one. And number two, why people are killing us? So that means people have hatreds, people fight with each other. This is human mentality, that is okay. But how come all over the world people are killing the Jews? So finally, this Jewish community people, they came to an understanding that wherever the country was under some authoritarian rule, or wherever the country is under dictatorial rule, there only Jewish people were killed. That means in a dictatorial rule, or under a dictator, or under an authoritarian rule, the power will be completely centralized, like Germany and under Hitler. What Hitler says is the law. What Hitler wants will be the ethics of the country, will be the rules and regulation of the particular country. Whatever he says, that is good. Whatever he doesn't like, it is wrong. Like that, it is there. So he said that Jewish people are wrong. That's why people kill the Jewish community. So that means when power is completely centralized, the people are not safe. Particularly Israeli people are not safe. Ultimately, these Israeli people, what they did is they came to an understanding that dictatorship or centralized power or authoritarian rule is inimical to the human development, human security. That means finally Israeli people came to an understanding that if power is centralized, it means people are not safe. So people should have the power. That is Israeli people, the Jewish idea. That's why the Israeli people finally came to an understanding that democracy is the best thing under which people can live happily, safely, under security. So in democracy, we people only elect the leaders. So the leaders have to appease the people. Ultimately, the power is with the people only. That's why the Jewish community, what they did is they began to promote democracy, believe in democracy. In a democracy, see, democracy is the rule of the people, by the people, for the people. See, people is supreme. So in a democracy, the people's opinion is being given top importance. That means earlier under dictatorship, the Jewish community were not represented. They doesn't share power. Their wishes were not taken into account by the rulers. That is the dictators. That's why the Jewish people were killed. So now under a democracy, everybody have vote. Everybody are equal vote. So in the circumstances, if the power is with the people, that means the power to select the leader is with the people, means the people are powerful. That is the understanding. So the Jewish people will be safe only in democracy. Like that, the Jewish people finally settled with this particular idea. And not only that, after the Second World War, they began to search for the dictatorship, where and all dictatorship is there all over the world. And they found that communism is the only ideology, the country who is following communism only, dictatorship was there. That means Russia, China, Cuba, etc. So that's why what these Jewish people did is they began to pressurize America and finally made America to follow a principle that US ultimate idea is to promote democracy and oppose communism. I think now you can understand why US is always against Russia. That means against Soviet Union. That means against communism. Why US always is having a policy against communism is because of the Jewish influence. Because the Jewish people felt that democracy is only safe for Jewish people and also for other community also. So when the power is with the people, people are safe. When the power is completely centralized, people are not safe. They won't seek the advice from the people. They won't consider the opinion of the people. That means the rights of the people are under problem. So people can be killed. Okay, so that's why Jewish people were killed. If the power is with the Jewish people, means that means Jewish people also enjoy power, means no problem will be there. So that's why the Israeli people finally came to an understanding that democracy is the best form of it. Okay, among the other available type of government, democracy is the best form. They hate authoritarianism. Authoritarian means single power. That you have to know. They hate that. Okay, so Jewish people, American independence is 100 years before that. So American independence, nowhere it is related to Jewish. Okay, so Jewish, what we are discussing is after Second World War. And after 1947, only Second World War came to an end. Okay, so after 1947, only State of Israel was founded. So finally, Israel was founded. Israel began to promote democracy. The Jewish people who are in US also began to pressurize the US government, and finally US have an official policy that US will always promote democracy. It will not go against democracy. How is communism and dictatorship authority connected with persecution? See, the only dictatorship available all over the world after the end of the Second World War is communism. And the communism is expanding. So they may expand into the areas where Jewish people may be living. And note that Jewish people were also killed in Soviet Union, that means that day Russia, before the formation of Soviet Union, under Tsar regime. Okay. So ultimately, no dictatorship, no authoritarian rule, no centralized power. So this is Jewish idea. That's why Jewish people promote democracy. Okay, so leave that. Coming back to this discussion. So Jewish people, so that's why the Jewish people and Arab people are always fighting with each other. Nobody can accommodate this Jewish community. If you accommodate Jewish community, then they will excel in other all areas, and they will outsmart all other things, and they will control everything. So that they will work very hard. Okay, they will work very, very hard. They are talented people. So these are all the problems. If you are too much, if you are having too much talent means, then this is the problem. See, having talent is not a problem. If you have extra talent means you should use the talent for public purpose, common purpose. But these people will not do that. These Israeli people, they will use for themselves to safeguard themselves or for their community only. So that is the problem. See, if you have some talent means how you are getting that particular talent, you have to think. You got the talent because of this society. You have learned from this society. That's why you are a talented guy. So if you are a talented guy, beyond satisfying your needs, you have, if you have extra talent, then what you have to do? You have to contribute to the community, because community only gave this. Community will give you recognition also in return. So you have to contribute. But if you, because you have extra talent, you keep on accumulating wealth, then what will happen? One day people will they will revolt against you, because it is their share. Because you are having talent, you are taking their share in this earth. So people cannot accept this after a particular threshold. This is the point. Okay. So these Israeli people and Palestinian people, they doesn't like each other. They fight against each other. So this point you have to note. And then one more important point is, I have said out of 106 countries, the Jewish people from 105 countries, they said they had very bad experience in the country where they were living. So which was that 106th country who treated Jewish people very nicely? Do you have any idea? It is India. Okay, it is India. In India, Jewish people were living in India. And you have to note that in India, the Jewish people were treated nicely. Nicely means we don't care about anyone. That's the thing. Okay. See, in India, everything is available. In ancient India, I'm telling you, ancient medieval India, everything is available. The nature bounty is there in India. Okay. So food and all is not at all a problem for the people. Okay. Unlike in Arab nations where food is scarce. Okay. So everything was in plenty. Even nowadays, you see government is giving 20 kg rice, free rice. They are giving TV. They are giving grinder, mixing and all. Everything, fan, table, fan. Current also 100 units free. So Tamil Nadu, everything they are giving. Okay. We are living a very happy life. So if you compare the people in Africa, we people are very gifted people. See, don't compare ourselves with Western country. They have big buildings, big cars, a sophisticated life. No, that is not a happy life. Happy life means all your basic needs are satisfied, means we should be happy. That's okay. So anyway, so in India, the Jewish people lived happily. Then why they went there? So because they all the community people are gathering, they wanted to join them. That's all. The Jewish people who were living in India, in Northeastern, some people were there. In Mumbai, some people were there. In Kerala state also, some Jewish people were there. They went back to Israel and they said very beautiful things about India. This is one reason why Israel and India are always friends. Always friends means now showing very like we are very close allies. Okay, we will discuss that, right? Okay, so you have to note that Israel and India, Israeli people always like to have friendship with India. So this you keep it in your mind. Okay, so this is Israel and Palestine. So these two people doesn't like each other. They belong to the same group, but they are fighting for the same piece of land. Okay, for the Jewish people, it is the land promised by the God. For the Palestinian people, it is their ancestors' land. So forgetting the fact that both belong to the same area, they are fighting for the same piece of land. This is what happened. Okay, so now I'm moving the slide. Is slide visible? Is slide visible? So we will discuss that. Don't worry. One by one, we'll see visible. Okay. Okay, we'll move. We'll move. Okay. Thank you. We will move. Okay, we'll move. See the entire area. See, I'm not going to discuss the ancient. That means I'm not going beyond medieval. Okay. So after 1500 only we have to see, because beyond that, if you are going, means lot of stories are there. That and all not at all required. So the point is after 1500. After 1500, don't raise your hand. At the end of the only I will answer. Okay. If you have any audio video problem, you just put a message in chat. Otherwise, wait for the end of the class for question and answers. So after 1500, the entire area east to this Mediterranean Sea. This is east to the Mediterranean Sea. Okay. So this territory, east to the Mediterranean Sea, the entire area, this area, were under the control of the Ottomans. Ottomans. Okay. So they only controlled this, and already we have discussed this. Okay, and note that under Ottoman Empire, all this Arab countries who are in the Middle East, you have to note that they accepted Ottomans as their religious head and the political head. And the Ottomans basically they are Sunni Muslims, but they did not care about the other groups. Okay, Sunni Shia groups and all that, the conflict and all, they are not interested, because they assumed themselves as the leader of the entire Islamic community. And these Ottomans were very busy fighting with the European powers. So that you have to note. Okay, so under Ottoman Empire, all the people were living happily. The entire area, the Israel-Palestine area particularly, belonged to the Arab community. But what happened is, at the end of the First World War, the Ottoman Empire disintegrated. This map already I have shown to you. So the northern territory went under the control of French, but this territory went under the control of British. British mandate means British controlled territory. This is called British Palestine territory. Okay, so after First World War, the entire area were under the Palestine area was under the control of British. And then see, after some time, this Jordan became an independent country. They became autonomous. This is called British Palestine. So from 1923 to 1947, this territory is called British Palestine, the blue color one. This is called British Palestine territory. Okay. So now you see, now what happens is, so now what happened is, this is the mid-war period. After First World War, British controlled this British Palestine territory. So during this First World War until the starting of the Second World War only, all the Jewish community in Europe, they were prosecuted, they were killed. The ethnic cleansing was going on. And who is controlling this Palestine territory? British. So the Jewish people are influential people, no? Basically money lenders, they have money, no? In England also, the Jewish community are powerful. The Jewish community began to pressurize the British government and finally made the British government to accept Jewish settlement in Palestine territory, British Palestine territory. Because the Palestinian people know very well that, the Jewish people know very well that it is Israel is their homeland. If wherever they go, they are getting killed. And finally, they have to go and settle in their home place. That is Israel. Now Israel is under the Israel. The entire area is Palestine territory. Palestine is under the occupation of British. So from 1920 to 1947, under British mandate, that means under British regime, the Jewish settlement started in Palestine territory. So the brown color one is the Jewish settlement. Okay, and you have to note that already we know this West Asia is a desertic territory. Palestine is also a desert. No resources available. People are poor. Water is not available. No agriculture. But now more people are coming and settling in that area. You see, already resources less. Then more people are coming, and then automatically the people will fight with each other. So that's why what happened is fight broke out between the Jewish community. So Arab community are in the white patch area. In the gray area, you have Jewish community. So Jewish and Arabs, they began to fight with it. So here Arabs are living. Here Jewish people are settling. So these people doesn't like each other. They began to fight with each other. Because already resource is less. More people are coming for share. So automatically they said that you should not come here and settle. So automatically Arab people and Jewish people began to fight with each other. The Jewish people, what they did is they began to form some kind of, what do you say, militia. Militia means local army. And they began to fight with the Arab community. And the Jewish people are ready to fight with the Arab community. Why? Means because they know very well that wherever they go, they are going to get beaten. They are being killed in Europe. So if they wanted to die, means let us die in our own country. This is their intention. That means the Jewish people were very desperate. Wherever I am going to be killed. So that means they are not afraid to die because I am going to die. So let me die in my country. Let me die in my own land, God promised land. Directly I will go to heaven. So that idea. So that's why the Jewish people very forcibly what they did is they repelled the Arab attack and they that means they sustained in that particular time. And ultimately what happened is by 1947 you see the Jewish community almost occupied a majority part of the Israel, the Palestine territory. That means in Palestine territory now Jewish people occupy the majority territory. Yellow patches is under the control of Arab. This brown patch is under the control of Jewish. And 1947 is the end of the Second World War. Okay. So after that, the British left this area to the United Nations control and then went back to their country. So India was given independence, Sri Lanka was given independence, Nepal, Pakistan, like that. The Palestine was also given independence and then they went away. They gave the Palestine territory because people are fighting with each other, no? So they gave this Palestine territory to the United Nations, and United Nations controlled this particular territory in 1947. Okay, I will answer at the end of the class. Okay, so in 1947, see, in 1947 you have to know that only 50 countries formed United Nations. All these countries are the victor countries of Second World War. Who is the victor? Who is the victor of the Second World War? British itself, British, USA, France, this country, which includes India. India is a part of British Empire now before 1947. So 50 countries formed United Nations, and after that only many countries joined. So United Nations controlled Palestine territory. So in UN, what they did is they announced the UN partition plan. Okay, they announced the UN partition plan. That means United Nations for the Jewish and Arab, they are fighting with each other. No, for that the solution is Palestine. That means Palestine will be divided into two countries. One state for the Arab country, one state for the Jewish country, like this. Like this, United Nations tried to divide the British Palestine into Arab state and Jewish state. And the Jewish community, what they did is they first time they rejoiced because first time in the history of modern world, the Jewish people, they are having their own country. Okay, so they rejoiced. Okay, as a result of this, 1948, the state of Israel was founded. Okay, but the Arab states, the Arab people, they wanted to wipe off Israel from the map. They doesn't want Israel. They completely wanted to eliminate Israel. They wanted to control the entire Palestine. They doesn't like United Nations recognizing Israel as a separate country. The two-state solution is not acceptable to the Arab nations. Okay, so when United Nations announced the two-state solution, immediately war broke out between the Arab state and Israel. And Israel won the war. And as a result, in 1948, Israel was finally formed. Okay, and note that lot of Palestinian people who are living in the Israel, that British Palestine territory, now they have to flee to the neighboring countries as refugees. To fight for the rights of the refugees, in 1964, Yasser Arafat, he founded Palestine Liberation Organization, PLO, Palestine Liberation Organization. Okay, so the point is, till 1947, the entire area was called British Palestine. British gave the territory to United Nations and went away. United Nations divided the country into Israel and Palestine. Palestinian people doesn't like this. Israeli people accepted this. They fought. There was a war. Was there? Arab countries were defeated. All the countries around that Israel, they all came together and fought against Israel in favor of the Palestinian people, and Arab states were defeated. Israel won the war. The state of Israel was founded, and Arab people, they fled to neighboring countries, as now they are living as refugees. And for fighting for the rights of the Arab countries, the Arab nation and the Palestinian people, Palestine Liberation Organization, PLO, Palestine Liberation Organization by Yasser Arafat was founded. Okay, so this is how State of Israel was founded. So when State of Israel was founded, even after the war, the Arab state wanted to wipe off Israel from them. That means Arab states are not ready to recognize Israel as a separate country. Okay, so then what happened is, not only this is frequently lot of wars were fought between Arab side and Israeli side. So this is the war immediately after the two-state solution, 1948 war, Arab-Israeli war. In that, you see, in all the wars, Israel won the war. Not, you note that. These are the four major wars. Minor wars were there, daily problems were there, terrorist attack like that, armed conflict is there daily in Israel-Palestine territory. But this is the four major war. In all four major war, Israel won the war. Israeli people, they are very, very desperate. So they are ready to do anything. Okay. So the thing is, in 1948, British Palestine has been divided into Israel and Palestine. Israel people were happy, the Arab community is not happy. So they fought a war, Arab community lost the war. So the Arab community who are living in Palestine territory, they have to flee, go to another country, and now, till now they are living as refugee. To fight for the refugee, Yasser Arafat became the leader. That you have to know. Okay. And then lot of wars were fought between the two parties. And in all the war, Israel won the war. This is the 1948 war, is the war immediately after the partition plan was announced. Okay, Israel won the war. Israel are desperate. They are technologically, they are very strong. Money also, they are very strong. They are getting the help from all Western countries. So that makes Israel very powerful country. And then again, war broke out between the two parties in 1956 because of the Suez crisis. See, where Suez Canal is there? Suez Canal is there is in Egypt. So through that only Mediterranean Sea and Red Sea are connected. So through Mediterranean Sea, through Red Sea, European countries can connect with Asian countries. So that we know. Okay. Who built Suez Canal? Actually, it is French people, not British people. Okay. French people only constructed Suez Canal. But later they sold all their stakes to British and went away. So Suez Canal was under the control of British Empire. That is what. See, what happened is in 1956, during this time, the Egypt was under the control of a leader named Abdul Nasser. So he's one of the founding member of non-alignment movement, along with our Nehru. Note this. Nehru and Abdul Nasser, they are friends. So Abdul Nasser was ruling the country. He's a strong leader there in Egypt. So he was expecting some kind of loans from World Bank to build some kind of dams across the river Nile in Egypt. But the Western countries blocked this particular thing because of Jewish pressure. So that's what this Egyptian leader, the leader did is, he went and nationalized the Suez Canal. See, Suez Canal is in Egypt, but it is under the control of England because that is the gateway to connect Europe and Asia. So it was under the control of British. Now Egypt nationalized that particular property. That means the Suez Canal here afterwards belongs to Egypt. So this provoked war between Egypt and the Israel. Israel, England, France on one side, the Arab countries on the other side, they fought against each other. Israel, England, France side won the war. That is 1956. And Egypt not only lost the Suez area, but also lost the Sinai Peninsula east to Suez. Okay, so this area is Sinai Peninsula. I'll tell you. Okay, so this is Egypt, this is Sinai. See, this is Sinai Peninsula. Suez Canal is here. So Egypt not only lost Suez Canal, but also lost the Sinai Peninsula to Israel. So that will happen. And what happened is after that in 1967, another war was fought. 6 days, this is called 6-day war. Why means they don't like each other, that's why they fought against each other. That is not a problem. But at the end of the war, Egypt signed a peace deal with Israel. And Egypt promised to Israel that hereafterwards, Egypt will not fight against Israel in terms of military to sort out the Palestinian problem. So diplomatically only hereafterwards, Egypt will fight against Israel. So this is the understanding. See, because your network has disrupted, you're asking me to come back again. Okay, if anything you are missing means you ask at the end of the class. Okay, you are blocking the flow of the class. See, network problem and all, this is not the problem because 300 students are waiting. Okay, what you do is, if you have any issue means just note down at the end of the class. You can ask. I am ready to reply. Don't block the class unless there is an audio video problem. Okay, so in 6-day war, you have to note that Egypt at the end of the war again. Arab side lost the war and Egypt signed a peace deal with Israel. Egypt said that hereafterwards no military based solution. Peacefully through diplomatic channels, Egypt will support Palestine for Palestine. Okay, Egypt will fight against Israel, but not through military. Like that, Israel and Egypt signed a peace deal. No more military confrontation. Like that, in 1973, another war was fought. In this also Israel won the war, and this time Jordan signed a deal with Israel, and Jordan said that hereafterwards I will not use military to fight for Palestine. I will use diplomatic channels. So this is the understanding. Okay. Video is blank. Is video? See, is the PPT visible? Students, is PPT visible? Yes. Okay, so so you have to note that. Yes. Okay, thank you. Okay, so that means in all the 4 wars, Israel won the war and Arabs lost the war. That you have to note. Okay, so this is the thing. Okay, and who are all the parties of the Arab side means all the Arab. See, who is the leader of the Arab community means don't say that it is Saudi Arabia. See, today only Saudi Arabia is the leader. Earlier, it was Egypt who is the leader. So that's why you see Egypt is the leader of the entire Arab countries since ancient times. That's why this Muslim Brotherhood doesn't like Saudi Arabia. Note this. Okay, so yesterday's class we discussed, no, last class. Okay, anyway. So Arab side were led by Egypt, and the other parties who are fighting against Israel were Syria, Lebanon, Jordan, and externally supported by other Islamic countries. So Egypt was the leader. Now Egypt and Jordan, the 2 important countries on the Arab side, they said that no more war-based solution, armed conflict, only peaceful solution. That means we will use diplomatic channels to fight with each other. That means diplomatically they are fighting against each other through peaceful method. Okay, they wanted to have a peaceful resolution. So these are all the wars. In all wars, Israel won the war. That you have to know. And a lot of peace initiatives are also there. In one line, I have to say means all these peace initiatives were failure initiative, or I can say that temporarily to avoid big problems, these peace initiatives were good. So no permanent solution were reached after this peace initiative. Oslo Accord, Camp David in US, Taba Summit in Egypt, and a roadmap for peace. It is a peace plan announced by the Quadrant, US, UN, European Union, and Russia. So these 4 countries, they announced a peace plan. See, just only 4 wars, no, you can note it down, no issue. Only 4 wars. See, but daily there is a war, but 4 major wars. 4 major wars, Arab side lost the war. Always Israel wins the war. Peace initiatives are also there. Peace initiative yielded temporary truce, temporary peace, but not a permanent deal, permanent solution. So Quadrant, the 4-member Quadrant, that means UN, US, EU, and Russia. What they did is they announced a peace plan, a settlement plan. Failure. On the Arab side also, they announced a peace plan. Okay, so that means all the peace plans were not working. So this is the position. Now the position is Arab side and Israel both sides are fighting with each other. Now also they have fight. They don't have any solution. That means they are not in a position to come to any kind of settlement. So this is the position. And then the current status. What is the present situation? The present situation is now both parties, they accept two-state solution. They accept two-state solution. That means one state for the Jewish community, another state for the Arab community. See, if you keenly watch this issue, means in 1947, when the problem started, it was the Arab nations who did not accept Israel as a separate country. But now the tables were changed. The Israeli people were very strong now. Now it is Israel who is not accepting Palestine as a separate country. See the irony. Okay. Earlier, Arab community did not accept Israel. Now Arab country know very well that we can't fight against Israel and win the war. So that's why they want at least Israel to accept Palestine as a separate country. Now Israel is not accepting Palestine as a separate country. So although both parties know very well that there will be two countries, they accept this. But the settlement process is still in progress. Some problem is going on. And the most important development is both mutually recognize each other's existence. So what is the meaning of this? Both mutually recognize each other's existence means you are also there, I am also here in this land. Both accept. That is a most important development. Earlier said that you don't have any place here. Like that, both the parties were putting allegation against each other. Now both mutually recognize each other's existence. You are also here, I am also here. Like that, they accept it. But still some basic differences are there. Okay, so they have some problem. That's why, although they both accept two-state solution, they know very well that the end will be two states only. But they have to settle, no? They have to compromise. They have to have an agreement, no? The agreement is not reached because a lot of problems are there. Why means because see, note that normally contract means two parties are signing some agreement, means that we call it as contract. I will accept, I will do something, you have to do something. So this is called a contract. So when a contract can be signed, when an agreement can be signed, means when two parties are all in the same plane, then only agreement will be signed. So this is the general understanding. One party is very strong or other party is very weak, means they won't have an agreement. The big party will think, why I have to sign an agreement with a small guy? I will take, if I have strength means I will take it. Like that only people will be there. Now Israel is a strong country. Israel is a very strong country. So Israel is in a very strong position. They are very adamant also. They are not coming down because of various problems that we are going to discuss. And not only that, Israel has the complete backup of US also. That's why it is very difficult for world countries to convince Israel to come to this two-state solution. Israel is stronger, Arab community are weaker. So that's why the settlement is not there. Both are in same position, means you also have problem, I also have problem, means let us come together, discuss, sort out the problem and settle the issue. Like that people will come. See, China, India, why the border problem is not settled? China is in a strong position. Or at least believe that they are in a strong position. That's why they are not coming for a settlement. So the other countries also like India, means then both the countries are big democratic countries. If you go for a war, means it is not good for both the parties. Let us settle a border. Like that, both countries will come for some kind of settlement. So for settlement, two parties should be in same equal plane. Then only a settlement can be done. So Israel is having an upper hand because US is helping Israel. And on the other side, US is now, see, now what happened is this Yasser Arafat in early 2000, he died because of his old age. So the Palestine Liberation Organization, which was founded by Yasser Arafat, now split into various groups. One such group is called Palestinian Authority. Okay. So who is the leader of the Palestinian Authority? His name is Mohammed Abbas. Mohammed Abbas is the leader of the PA. So he is in charge of the one big portion of Palestine. Okay. Lot of factions are there. We'll discuss that. Okay. So US is extending peace talks to Palestinian people. On the other side, they are having military tie-up. They are equipping, that means Israeli people are helping US, US is helping Israel. So US is also having a veto power in United Nations Security Council. So no resolution can be passed against Israel. Okay, so they give military aid to Israel. So why this is the case? why US is helping Israel. On the other side, it is asking the Palestinian people, don't fight, no to war, don't fight, only peace talks. Okay, why this is the case? Why US is backing Israel? See, the point is the two important reasons are there. Why means number one, the Jewish people. In US also a lot of Jewish people are living. They are one of the most influential people in US. They have a very big lobby in US Parliament. Okay, so they are big, they are rich people. The US based Jewish people are rich people. So they will give lot of election fund to the MPs. Okay. No, not for trade route and all. See, US doesn't need anyone to access any part of the world. US have the capacity to go anywhere. Okay. So the point is, the Jewish people who are living in US, they are very popular people. They are very strong people. They are influential people. They have lot of influence in US Parliament itself. Okay. So this is one reason. This is one reason. So US wanted to end communism. That's why I said, why US wanted to end communism? Because Jewish people want to end communism. That's the reason. Okay. So US policy is Jewish policy only. That is the understanding. Jewish people only influence US to take such policy. US support capitalism. Why means because Jewish people are capitalistic people. Very simple. And the second reason why US is supporting Israel means, who is controlling world economy? US. Who is controlling US economy? The Jewish people. Very simple. Okay, all the US banks, Standard Chartered, Citibank, whatever bank you take, all are Jewish bank. Okay, everything, money is under the control of Jewish community. Okay, so that means US minus Jewish people means US is like Africa only. Like that we can take. Okay, because the entire wealth of US is under the control of the Jewish community. And not only that, the big scientists of US are all Jewish community. Who found atomic bomb? With whom's idea atomic bomb was that program was initiated? Albert Einstein. Albert Einstein is a Jewish guy. Oppenheimer. So lot of a series. See, every year you have already I said lot of Nobel laureates are there from Jewish community. Okay, Einstein is a Jewish guy. Okay, so Jewish guy who only asked the US to immediately test for nuclear bomb. If US is not testing nuclear bomb, means Germany is going to test nuclear bomb. So like that he want, and the Jewish scientist only tested nuclear bombs. So US is a powerful country because of Jewish community. That's why this is the nexus between US and Israel. Okay. So now, 1 minute. So now both the parties, both Israel and Palestine, they accept two-state solution. But lot of key issues are there. So these are all the problems, pending problems. So although both the parties accept two-state solution, issues are there. Okay. See, don't unnecessarily type. Okay. See, unless there is audio video, don't put message. Okay, so the Jewish community, and that means Israel and Palestine, they accept two-state solution. Both know very well that the end of this is going to be two countries, one Palestine country and one Jewish country. Already Jewish Israel is already set up. Okay, so Israel have to accept Palestine as a separate country, no change. But these are all the problems, pending problems in between the two parties. So we'll take 2 minutes break and then we'll continue. Okay. So we'll take 2 minutes break. Okay. Can you be able to see the PPT? Hello? Students, can you be able to see the PPT? Can you be able to see the PPT? Yes. Okay. Okay. So these are all the issues. Okay. So although both the parties, both Israel and Palestine accept, I think now it is visible. Okay. So Palestinian people and the Jewish community Israel, they accept two-state solution, but these are all the pending problems. First is issue number one, mistrust in mutual recognition. What is mistrust in mutual recognition? See, both doesn't believe in each other. See, both know that the end is going to be two countries, but they don't like each other. That means they are suspicious. Okay. See, both doesn't like each other, both dislike each other. That is the main problem. They don't trust each other. That is issue number one. And then issue number two, see, if there is going to be two countries, means first there should be some kind of borders. What is the border? That itself is not known. See, India, Pakistan, we have a border. After the border only, border dispute comes. Now we are fighting with each other. See, now the border is not demarcated between Israel and Palestine. What is going to be the border? That is question number one. And after that only, whether people agree that or disagree, dispute is there. That problem is after that only. So the biggest problem is yet to come. Border problem will be the biggest problem. Now the border is not demarcated. So this is issue number two. And then issue number three. Issue number three is security concern. See, what Israel is doing is, Israel is using excess of its police force, that is military force, against the Palestinian people to control that particular people and dominate that people. And Palestinian people are not in a position to fight against Israel. So they are using terrorism against Israel. So if at all there is going to be two countries, Israel is having a big question whether Palestinian people will stop involving in terrorist activities. That is the biggest concern for Israel. That's why Israel is not allowing Palestine to be a separate country. If Palestine becomes a separate country, then after settling in that particular position, again they will use terrorism against Israel. Like that, Israel is suffering. This is issue number three, security concerns of Israel. And then fourth one, who is going to control the holy city, Jerusalem? Okay. See, Jerusalem is a holy city for all the three communities, Jewish, Christianity, and also Islam. The old mosque is there in Jerusalem. Because for the control of Jerusalem only, you have to note that the Crusaders, the Crusader wars were fought between the Islamic community and the Christianity in the medieval world. That you have to know. Okay. So this is a holy city. So now you have to note that the old Jerusalem city is under the control of United Nations only. But who is going to take over that Jerusalem city? That is a big problem. And adjoining to that old Jerusalem city, now Israel has built New Jerusalem city. Okay, old Jerusalem is the disputed territory. Next to the old Jerusalem city, Israel has built New Jerusalem city. Okay, so this Jerusalem city is the main bone of contention between Israel and Palestine. But Jerusalem city is under the rule of, that is under the aegis of United Nations. See, recently what happened is 1 year before, this Israel says that Jerusalem is the capital city of Israel. Except Israel, no other country accepts Jerusalem as the capital city of Israel. Because Jerusalem is under the control of United Nations. Both claim the territory, United Nations governs that particular territory. But Israel unilaterally said that Jerusalem is our capital city. But for the entire world, Tel Aviv is the capital city of Israel. So Israel was maintaining the standard that Jerusalem city is the capital city of Israel. Suddenly what happened is 1 year before, the US President Trump, he said that US approves Jerusalem as the capital city of Israel. Like that, he gave a statement. Because this Trump, you have to know that he's a capitalistic, he's a businessman, a capitalistic businessman. So definitely he will be under the influence of the Jewish people. So that's why Trump openly gave a statement in favor of Israel, that Jerusalem city is the capital city of Israel. Immediately, in United Nations General Assembly, you can't do anything in United Nations Security Council, but in United Nations General Assembly, there was a vote passed by world countries condemning US statement that Jerusalem is the capital city of Israel, because Jerusalem is the disputed one. So during when an area is under dispute, you should not, a big party should not say that this belongs to this guy only. Okay, so you have to go for a judicious, that means a judgment based on the court judgment only. You have to settle if it is a land dispute means normally, because you are a powerful guy, you are an MLA in the territory, you should not go and support one party that no, this land belongs to him only. Like that, you should not say. This is against the international order. So because US is the most powerful guy, US said that Jerusalem belongs to Israel. Like that, it gave a statement. So this invited a resolution against US statement. Okay. So what happened during that particular thing, we have to discuss. That is because that is important for India. Because what happened is 1 month before this particular incident, Indian Prime Minister Modi, he went to Israel. The first time an Indian Prime Minister visiting Israel. So earlier, this is Modi's second visit to Israel. But earlier he went as the CM of Gujarat. But this time he went as the Prime Minister of India. So no Indian Prime Minister ever visited Israel. First time our Prime Minister went to Israel. And Israel is the Israel Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and the entire Israel community, the Jewish community, welcomed our Prime Minister and gave a very warm reception. And that means the media and all projected, Israeli media has projected that Israel is a close ally of India. Why that is the case, we'll discuss a little later. So that means after that our Prime Minister visit to Israel, both the countries were showing an exhibition to the world that we are all very close friends. So why means because this BJP like Israel. Why means because Israel is a Jewish country. So the nation, the state is a religious country. That means based on the Jewish religion, Israel is a strong state. Like that BJP want India to be based on a religion, they wanted to make India a strong state. That's all. So our present government is, that means we are wondering how come this Israel is surviving like that. Okay, like Israel, we should make India like that. They have an idea. Okay, so leave that. This and all you should not write in exam. But the point is, Israel welcomed India, and Israel is always very receptive to India. Why? Because they are very friendly with India. Why means we will discuss later. Okay. So what happened is after this 1 month only, this resolution was passed in United Nations General Assembly, where 193 countries are there. So in that circumstances, India have to vote. Which side India will vote? So because 1 month before we enjoyed, we had a good relationship, bilateral relationship, definitely India will vote for Israel. So, but note that India consistently supporting Palestine. Regarding Israel-Palestine issue, India is a supporter of Palestine since day one. So that means which side India will vote. That was a big problem was there. And what happened is 2 days before, India immediately did not say that. India remained silent because India and Israel are friends, but we support Palestine. So in this voting, which side we are going to support, to our friend or to our consistent stand? That was a big question was there. But what happened is 2 days before that particular voting, all the Arab diplomats, they came to India. Important leaders came to India, and finally India said that India votes for Palestine, condemning US statement that Jerusalem is the capital city of Israel. Okay, we voted against Israel in favor of Palestine. And not only that, after that voting, within a week, the Israeli leader is coming to India. Like that, already all the programs were fixed. So within a week, the Benjamin Netanyahu is going to be in India. So in another next week, he is going to come to India. This week voting is that India votes against Israel. Then how Israel will feel about India? See what happened is the program, like the scheduled program, first India voted against Israel in favor of Palestine, and then finally next week Benjamin Netanyahu came to India. So in a press conference, the first question which was asked to Benjamin Netanyahu, the Israeli leader, that is Israel unhappy that India voted against Israel in United Nations General Assembly? See, this is the question which should not be asked. This will embarrass both the parties, no? But note how the Israeli leader reacted. You see, Israeli leader said that yes, we are disappointed, but India-Israel relation is beyond all these things. Like that, he said. That means he said that even India voted against Israel. That are not a matter. This Palestine issue is not a matter. India and Israel are enjoying a special relationship. Like that, immediately he gave a statement. That means this, even we go against Israel, Israel want friendship with India. Why means we'll discuss little later. Okay, you should just wait for some more time. Okay, see what might have happened. How that means what is the inference of this? Means you see, India and Israel want to have a common understanding. So leave that. So beyond that, what is the other inference? Is the Israel's politics have completely matured with respect to India's stand towards Israel-Palestine issue. So since day one, we are the supporters of Palestine, but yet Israel never went against each other, went against India, just because of the reason that India always votes against Israel. Even now today, we have a problem with China. No? Israel only supports India in selling important defense equipments and other materials to India. Russia is also giving consistently. Israel is the second largest defense partner of India. And note that Israel is a strategic partner of India. So what is strategic partnership means? Two countries are having long-term common understanding in important areas, vital areas, like defense, like technology, like any item. Okay, so important area we have long-term common understanding means then that will lead to a strategic relationship. We are strategic partners. India and Israel are strategic with vital countries, big countries only, important countries only. India have signed strategic partnership agreement. With Russia, we have strategic partnership. With the US, we have strategic partnership agreement. Israel, we have strategic partnership agreement. And with Japan also, we have strategic partnership agreement. And note that India and Israel, they did not go together till recently. Now only India is engaging with Israel. Okay, earlier and all, India never engaged with Israel. But whenever we are under trouble, Israel unilaterally come to our rescue. Okay, so that means Israel needs the friendship of India. That we will discuss later. So Israeli Prime Minister, he said that even India votes against Israel in the recent one week before, India voted against Israel in United Nations General Assembly. No problem. That is not a problem. That means India and Israel friendship is beyond all this matter. That means this Palestine issue is not going to harm India-Israel relationship. Why? Means because Israel understands India's position. We have to support Arab community. If we are not supporting Arab community, means the Arab community may create lot of problem with India using Pakistan Kashmir issue. Okay, so India is under pressure. So that pressure, that means necessarily we have to support Arab community. We have no choice. That Israel accepts it. See, we have no other choice. If we are going against Israel, Palestine means what will happen? Arab communities are supporting Palestine. If you are going against Arab community means then Arab community may turn against India and openly support Pakistan. See, now only in the last 30 years, India slowly have built up relationship with the Arab communities. Otherwise, they will become a problematic for India. So that's the reason Israel accepts this, and Israel doesn't care that India is supporting Palestine. So this is the understanding. So I will tell you one more incident, how India might have handled this. See, now from 2021 and 22, India is the non-permanent member in United Nations Security Council. So until this, we are going to replace Indonesia. So Indonesia, today Indonesia is a non-permanent member. So in this year and last year, Indonesia was the member. So during that election, for Asia Pacific, 2 seats are there. And every year for 1 seat, there will be a election will be there. Last time election was there for Indonesia. This time election was there, unanimously everybody elected India. So India have now become a non-permanent member from 2021. That means from January till another 24, next to 24 months, India will be a non-permanent member. See, when Indonesia competed in the election, the other country who was competing was Maldives. So during that election, for the Asia's quota, one seat was vacant. For that one side Maldives is competing. Other side, Indonesia is competing. And note that by the time India-Maldives relationship was not good. Maldives openly cooperated, always will cooperate with Pakistan, and all Maldives went completely under the control of China during the previous president's rule. So now after there is a change in regime, now India again open relationship with Maldives. So that means during that particular election time, when Maldives was competing, the Maldives relationship with India was going very bad, very worst. So during this, and on the other side, Indonesia is our closest ally. So India-Asian relationship, Indonesia is our very important ally, and particularly to counter China, India and Indonesia are allies again. So in these circumstances, our neighbor is competing. On the other side, the opposing that, our close friend is competing. Which side India will vote? You can understand. So only one seat is there. Two parties are competing for that. One is our close neighbor, our immediate neighbor Maldives. Another is our close friend. Which side India will vote? So that means if India, Maldives and India doesn't have good relationship. So obviously India have to vote for Indonesia. If India votes for Indonesia, means then things will be very clear that Maldives will never have a relationship with India. And if Maldives is not an important country in any way, but it is very important because the Maldives Islands, some of the port of Maldives, particularly the Mahe port, is been in Mahe port. Maldives government by the time allowed Chinese naval ships to stand there, to be docked there. That means China. So Maldives may become a harbor for Chinese warships, which goes against the interest of India, against our security. So we can't allow Maldives to establish close relationship with China, or we can't leave the leverage over Maldives. So if you are voting against Maldives, means it will become a license for Maldives to openly cooperate with the China and oppose India. But if you are voting for Maldives, means even though we don't like Maldives, we don't have good relation, but yet we are voting for Maldives, our friend will be upset. Indonesia will be upset. So that's why what India did is India went to Indonesia and ensured that Indonesia will win the election. Finally, you have to note that Indonesia by the time got more than 2/3 of the votes. More than the required votes, Indonesia got it. So after ensuring that Indonesia will win the election, in India expressed our position to Indonesia that my mind is with Indonesia, but my vote is with Maldives, like that. You can understand. It is a compromise deal. So Indonesia accepted this deal. That means because Indonesia is a friend of India. So Indonesia is going, whether with the India support or without India support, Indonesia will win the election. So in that circumstances, India asked Indonesia to consider India, that India will not vote for Indonesia. Instead, India will vote for Maldives. Indonesia accepted. Okay, so because you have to vote for Maldives only, otherwise India will get into trouble. If India gets into trouble, means Chinese presence will increase in the Indian Ocean. This is also bad to Indonesia also. So Indonesia accepted our position and situation and did not take anything wrong, because India voted against Indonesia in favor of Maldives. Okay, so can you understand? So this is an understanding. So through diplomatic channels, we convinced Indonesia. Indonesia was not unhappy with India. So India is under pressure. What India can do? So anyway, your vote is not required for me. I am going to win the vote. So no problem. You vote for our friendship is intact, but you vote for you can vote against me. Like that, Indonesia accepted. So like that, with respect to Israel, you have to note that all the world countries voted against Israel. Okay, except US and some small countries, the Polynesian, Micronesian countries in Pacific Ocean, they only voted in favor of US. And even you have to note that all the big P5 countries except US, I think that means even British, France, Russia, China, everybody voted against Israel. That means that means against US statement. Okay, even Australia, who is a close ally of US, abstained from voting. That means the entire world was against Israel. So during this time, India voted along with the world opinion. Means India, this is not going to, that means India will not be identified separately that India voted against Israel. So can you understand? The entire world is are in one side. So during this time, India voted along with the tide. That's all. Okay. So this vote, we can't say that we voted against Israel. So can you understand? So Israel is having half the vote, the other party have half the vote. During the time we are voting against Israel, means India voted against Israel. Like that we can take. Okay, 99.99% of the countries, they voted against Israel, which includes India. So India with the world opinion. Okay, so the entire world is against Israel. So that means Israel cannot take this personally that India voted against Israel. You can understand. So that's why Israel said that India-Israel relationship is beyond all these things. We have a lot of things to cooperate, like that the Israeli presidency. So this shows Israel's maturity towards India's position. Because if India votes for Israel, the Arab countries will be unhappy. Then India will get into trouble. This Israel knows this. So out of compulsion only, we have to support Palestine. And not only that, the entire world countries are supporting Palestine. And Israel also know that Palestine should become a separate country. But because of the security concerns in Israel, Israel is not openly supporting it. Can you understand? Okay. And then the fifth issue is Israel's settlement policy. See, in Palestine area, there is going to be two countries in Israel, the Palestine territory. One is Israel, another one is Palestine. Israel already become a state. So if Palestine has to be recognized by Israel, you have to know that in Palestine area, some Israeli people are settled there forcibly. So the Jewish people forcibly have settled there in Palestine territory. They have to vacate. Okay, so this is going to be another big problem. Okay, so 40-50 years the Jewish community were living forcibly in, using force, they are sustaining in Palestinian land. If Palestine is going to be a different country, these people have to vacate. So this is another issue. And then water sharing problem. Water sharing problem. So what is water sharing problem means? Already we know this is a desertic territory. And note that if at all some water is available in the territory, means the entire water is being utilized by Israel only. That means more than 80% of the total available water is utilized and used by or under the control of Israel. If there is going to be two countries, means how the water will be shared. That is going to be another problem. Okay, how the water sharing, like Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, we have problem. No? Like that, Israel and Palestine will have water sharing problem. Israel is a dominant country. Whether Israel will give water to legitimate amount of water to Palestine territory, that is another question. And then you have to note that Palestine refugee rights. See, if Israel is going to be a separate country, a recognized country, means whether the Palestine refugee who went outside the Palestine territory during 1948 war and who are living as refugees in Syria, Lebanon, Jordan, again, whether they can come back. Okay, if they come back, means what are all their rights? Whether they will be accepted as citizen, what about their land, etc., etc. Okay, so those things are yet to be settled. Okay, so these are all the key issues. And the final issue is Gaza blockade. Gaza blockade. I'll tell you what is Gaza blockade. So I have to show you a map. See, this is Israel. So this is Sinai Peninsula of Egypt. This side only Egypt is there. This is Suez Canal. Okay. This side Jordan, Syria. This is Syria. This is Lebanon. This is Jordan. This is Egypt. So there are two Palestinians are there on either side of Israel. So this is Palestinian territory. This is Palestinian people, Arab community are living. This area is under the control of Israel. Okay, so already I said Yasser Arafat in 1960s, he founded PLO, Palestine Liberation Organization. In 2002, I think he died. So after that, the Palestine Liberation Organization divided into many groups. One group controls West Bank. That group is called Fatah group. F-A-T-A-H. Fatah. So West Bank is under the control of a group called Fatah, who is the offshoot of PLO. The parent party is PLO only. And this strip is called Gaza. This is under the control of a party named Hamas. This area is under the control of Hamas. There are two Palestines are there. Okay. One side West Bank, another one is Gaza. This is Gaza Strip. This is Gaza Strip. This is also Palestine. Gaza is under the control of a group called Hamas, which is also an offshoot of PLO. And West Bank is under the control of Fatah. And note that in two areas, why two territory means in two areas Arab people are living, that's all. Like Muslim dominated territory, when India was divided into two countries, into India and Pakistan, among the British province where Muslim dominated territory is there, that will become Pakistan, means the East Bengal and the northwestern province became Pakistan. Okay, so like that, if Israel and Palestine are going to be two countries, where Arab people are living means east to Mediterranean Sea, in the West Bank they are living, and also in the west to the Israel near the in the Mediterranean Sea, Gaza, here also Arab community are living. So two areas. So that means this is looking similar to India's case. Okay, so I will allow you to ask questions. Okay, don't worry. Palestine and Israel are not separate countries. Palestine is not recognized as a separate country so far. Earlier, this entire area was Palestine. Now Israel occupied and have become a country, separate country. For 70 years they survived. Even it survived all the wars. Now Palestinians' position is now have become big. Now Israel have to accept Palestine as a separate country. See, Palestine is not a sovereign. Sovereignty means internally all the decisions will be taken by the local people. That Palestine is having. But the neighboring sovereign country also should accept that particular country as a sovereign country. Okay, I will explain. See, don't ask question. I am going to explain everything. Don't worry. Okay. What all I wanted to say, I am going to tell you. Then only I am going to leave you. Don't worry. Okay. So now what I have said is, wait பண்ணுங்க. ஓகேங்களா? I will tell you everything. Don't worry. Okay. So let me finish it. Okay. Then you can put your questions. Okay. So now this is the position. Earlier to 1920, the entire area was under the control of Arab. So because of the British were controlling this until 1947, the Jewish community occupied this territory. Now after 1947, because of the United Nations plan, now this area have become Israel. These two regions became Palestine. But Israel is yet to recognize Palestine as a sovereign independent country. Then only Palestine will be allowed to become a sovereign country. So see, in United Nations, you have to know that this country have to become a full state nation. We are going to discuss that. Palestine is not a sovereign country. So to get the sovereignty, Israel have to accept Palestine as a sovereign country. Israel is not accepting it because of the problems we discussed in the previous slide. Because these problems are there, you have to know that Israel is not accepting. Okay, so now two Palestines are there in either side of Israel. But West Bank is on the eastern side of Israel. Then why it is called West Bank? Why means because this is Jordan River. This river is here only Jordan River. This is Dead Sea. West to the Jordan, West Bank of Jordan. That's why it is called West Bank. The West Bank of Jordan, that is called West Bank. Now we call it as West Bank. This is a Palestine territory. Here, this area is under the control of a party named Fatah Party. Whose parent party is PLO. Like that, Gaza, who is in the western side of Israel, Mediterranean side of Israel, that is called Gaza is under the control of Hamas. Okay, Hamas parent party is also PLO. So when Yasser Arafat, the head of the PLO, is no more, party split, and Hamas and Fatah doesn't like each other. Why? Two different parties, like DK, Dravida Kalagam, then DMK, ADMK, like that. Similar politics. Okay. These two parties doesn't like each other. Why means because Fatah have opened peaceful negotiation with Israel, peaceful negotiation to settle Israel-Palestine issue. But Hamas and Israel doesn't like each other. They want to fight. Okay, Hamas is telling to Israel that either you have to be there or I will be there, or both will not be there. That means let us fight and then decide. This is what Hamas is telling to Israel. Fatah is telling no, we will diplomatically in tables we will settle this issue. That's why Israel is telling, if at all I am going to accept Palestine, means I will talk only with Fatah. And according to Israel, Hamas is a terrorist organization because Hamas is using extremism against Israel. And again, I am telling you have to connect this with previous class, West Asia class. Hamas is getting the support from Hezbollah. Hezbollah is getting the support from whom? Iran. And Hezbollah is very active in this region, Syria, Lebanon, Syria region. And Hezbollah is supporting, this is Syria. So this is Syria. So this is Lebanon. So Hezbollah is very active in Syria, Lebanon, this Syria, Lebanon region. This is Syria and then this is, this is Lebanon, I think. This is Lebanon, this is Syria. Okay, so check the map, okay. So Hezbollah is very active in Lebanon, Syria region, and Hezbollah is supporting Bashar al-Assad government. That's why Israel wanted to strike Bashar al-Assad government, because Bashar al-Assad army is getting the support from Hezbollah, which is a Shia-based armed group. So Israel, US and other countries, they have named Hezbollah as a terrorist. They are terrorist people. You can understand. So this is the understanding. Okay. So Gaza Strip is under the control of Hamas. West Bank is under the control of Fatah. Israel opens talks with Fatah, but Hamas and Israel they are going for fight. They fight with each other. So this is the understanding. So this Hamas what they will do is they will enter into Israel territory and they will put bombs. So that's why what Israel has done is Israel has put a siege over Gaza. Siege means nobody can enter into Gaza or come out of Gaza without the permission of, without a pass from Israel. Okay, so this is called Gaza blockade. This is called Gaza blockade. Okay, Gaza blockade. Because Gaza is hostile towards Israel. The Hamas is hostile towards Israel. So that's the reason why Israel is not completely able to recognize Palestine as a separate country. Palestine, if Israel accepts Palestine as a separate country, means then both the regions will become a separate country. And legitimately Hamas will strike Israel. And why Israel and Iran are enemies? Why means because Israel's enemy is Hamas. Hamas is supported by Hezbollah. Who is the sponsor of Hezbollah? Iran. So Iran supports Hezbollah. So if Iran goes nuclear, means then Hezbollah will get the nuclear weapon. Then Hezbollah will give it to Hamas. Hamas will put on Israel and destroy Israel. That's why before Iran goes nuclear weapon, Israel wanted to strike Iran. That's why Israel is always going against Iran. Okay. So this is Gaza blockade. I think now you have an understanding. Okay. So this is and why Hamas and Fatah are fighting with each other? Hamas is very angry with both are sister parties. That means sister parties. They are telling that how can you open negotiation with our enemy Israel? See, Israel is the enemy of both Gaza and also West Bank. But West Bank is ready for peace, peaceful talks. But Hamas is ready for armed revolt. That means they wanted a decisive, that means a decision that either Israel should prevail or Hamas should prevail, like that. So this is the point. Okay. See, here Sunni Shia are not an issue. Okay. And basically the people who are living in West Bank, they are Sunni Muslims. This West Bank is supported by all the Sunni countries. Okay, only Gaza is supported by Hezbollah, Iran, Shia. So there are some Shia people are there in this country. That is the understanding. Okay, I will give you time to for asking question. Okay, blockade means siege. Okay, so that means what is blockade means? In and around this Gaza, Israel military will guard this territory. Nobody can enter Gaza or nobody can come out of Gaza. This is called blockade. In olden days and all over surrounding the palace or fort, the enemy army will put a siege. Like that, Israel is putting a blockade, siege. Okay, Israel is putting a siege. Okay, so see, issues are there. This is the major problem. Okay, see, even you have to note that there is some problem between Israel and this West Bank territory. I will tell you, this is not the complete map. So to explain Gaza Strip, I am using this map. Okay, can you understand this? Okay, let me finish. Now see, this is Israel-Palestine's position in 1947. The green patches are Arab community. White patches were under the control of the Jewish community. This is in 1947. This is the present position. Everywhere it is under the control of Jewish community. Only in this area, only Arab community is there. Even West Bank, you see, inside West Bank also, Jewish people have entered. So this is Arab community. Earlier, West Bank was something like this. Okay, this is what we saw. But now, even in the West Bank, the Jewish community have entered. So this is the understanding. Okay. See, 1948, when war broke out between the two communities, Israel won the war. No, now Palestinian people fled to the neighboring country. That means Palestinian people are there in Jordan, they are in Syria, they are in Lebanon. This is Lebanon. Lebanon, Syria, etc. Like that it is there. Okay, so these people, here Arab community are living somewhere here. So if Palestine is going to be a new country, means again they have to come back, no? This is their mother country. Okay, so they have to come here. So that is an issue. Okay, that is an issue. Okay, so now this is the portion. I will show you one more map. So this is in 1917, the entire area was under the control of Arab. Green means Arab. This brown color means Jewish community. So now you see this is the present position. Almost the entire Palestine area is under the control of Jewish community only. Only this green patches only Arab communities are there. Remaining people died or they fled to the neighboring countries. Now they are living here as refugees. So this is the present position. So this is Israel-Palestine issue. Okay. So what we will do is we will see before discussing what we have to connect this with India and Palestine and India and Israel. So before that, if you have any doubt, means you can ask questions. After that, we will move to India. Yeah. One by one.
Good afternoon, sir.
Yes.
Sir, what is the current position of Sinai, sir, of Egypt?
Sinai Peninsula was returned back. So you see, in 1967 war, Sinai was, see this map, Sinai was occupied by Israel. So after that, in that war, they signed a peace deal, no?
Yes, sir.
Egypt promised Israel that here afterwards, I won't use army, military, I won't go for military solution. Here afterwards, diplomatic solutions only. We will sit together and settle. So in return for the peace deal, Israel gave back the Sinai Peninsula back to Egypt.
Okay, sir.
So after that, now you see it is under Egypt only.
Okay.
So temporarily they occupied this territory, 20 miles. And then again they gave back the Sinai Peninsula back to Egypt.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Yes, Vimal?
So am I audible, sir?
Yes.
So my doubt is, during the 1947 war, Palestine had a great, huge territory, and after that, Israel had an upper hand, and they captured the territory of Palestine.
Yes.
When the United Nations is a strong organization having the control over the world, why
Okay.
can't Israel something like that? Why you are interfering into Palestine and taking away the territory?
See, that's why I said United Nations by the time consists of only 50 countries who are the victor countries of Second World War, dominated by British, US. So US, British and its allies only formed United Nations. Okay, so they are openly supporting Israel, no? So that's why Israel, US, UN was not able to do any action. Okay. So after 2000, now 193 countries are there. So, but Israel is getting the support from US. If you wanted to take any decision, means it has to be approved by United Nations Security Council, in which US is there. US will block any veto, put a veto and block any resolution if it is going against Israel. That's why I said US is completely backing Israel.
Okay, sir. Right now, sir, Palestine is recognized as a country by United Nations. When
No? Who said no?
No, sir.
Recognized? Who said like that? No. That is the problem now. UN wanted to recognize, but US have to accept it. US is the only country which is blocking it.
Then Palestine doesn't have their members in UN, sir, right?
No, Palestine is a member as a non-state position. It is.
But Israel is recognized by
one member. Just wait. Okay. There are two. See, India is a nation state member in United Nations. India is a state, full state membership. US is a full state membership. Pakistan is a full state membership. Sri Lanka is a full state membership. But Palestine is a non-state member. It is not recognized as a country. That means partially, that is one step to fully recognized as a full country.
Okay, so whether Israel is recognized, sir?
Yes. But see, Israel is not at all an issue. Israel said that whether you recognize or not, I am a separate country. They are very strong, no? Problem is only with a weaker guy. Israel is a recognized state. For 70 years, it is survived, no?
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Then Archana.
Hello, sir.
Yes.
Sir, could you please explain again the British mandate that happened after World War One? I lost track of it. Like
1 minute. I'll show. I'll show.
Yeah.
See. Just to see this.
Okay.
See, the point is, the entire area east of the Mediterranean Sea was under Ottoman Empire.
Yes,
Ottoman Empire lost the First World War. After that, French and British divided the territory. This you know. So that means this area went under the control of British. And after that, what happened is, half of the territory was this Jordan. This side is Jordan. Jordan became a independent means autonomous. So this is called British Palestine territory. 1923 to 1947, mid-war period. So during this time only, the Jewish people were allowed to come and settle in this territory. Because England was controlling this territory. No? So England allowed the Jewish community from Europe to come and settle. Because Jewish people said that wherever we go, people are beating us. So like, we want to go to our country, our God promised land, and that is under British control. So they pressurized the British government to allow Jewish settlement there. See, so slowly the Jewish people began to settle in this territory. Okay. So by 1947, at least half of the territory were under the control of Jewish community. So when United Nations announced two-state solution, a partition plan, because by the time only 50 countries were there in United Nations. Okay, 1947. All are British allies countries, the victor of the Second World War. So they ensured that Israel will become a separate country, which Arab community did not like it, which led to frequent wars. But now what happened is Israel has, they ensured that they are a separate country. Now they are not recognizing Arab as a separate country.
Okay.
So this is the...
Sir, yeah, I have one more question. Who controls Suez Canal now, sir?
Suez Canal, you have to know that it is under British control only.
Okay.
So they lost, Egypt lost the war, no?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Not only that, the entry, see, you have to note that from Atlantic Ocean, if you wanted to enter into Mediterranean means today immediately you go and check the map. Okay, from Atlantic Ocean, if you wanted to enter into Mediterranean, already I have said Mediterranean is a very important region. If you can mobilize your security forces, means you are a powerful guy. So that mouth of that particular Mediterranean Sea, you have this Gibraltar, which is under the control of whom? You just check it.
Okay, sir.
Okay, see, see, it is under the control of British. Okay,
Okay.
so you check that map now. Okay, Atlantic Ocean to Mediterranean Sea, that strait, small water passage. Okay, there only Gibraltar will be there. Strait of Gibraltar, that is under the control of British. And note that in Spain side, British will control. African side, Spain will have land. You check that. Okay.
Okay.
Because all the junction area, entry point, if the country British is controlling it. Suez Canal also British is controlling.
Okay, sir.
The map, immediately check the map. Okay, all other students
Okay.
also please check the map. Okay, Atlantic Ocean to Mediterranean Sea, and the tip, who is controlling? Where in the northern side you have Spain, southern side you have Morocco. I think some country, some African.
Yeah, sir. Morocco is there.
Morocco. So you have to note that they British will control the Spain side. In return for the British, they will give some territory from Morocco side. Just to check it.
Gibraltar is part of Spain country, sir.
No, it is British control. That's what I am telling. It is under.
No. I mean, in terms of landmass, I'm saying.
Yes.
Okay, sir.
Check it. You check it, and you verify.
Yes. Okay. Thank you.
That is the entry point. Strait means entry point. You have to control the territory. Otherwise, the great powers cannot enter and come out. That's why British control that particular territory. Like that, Suez Canal is that is the only gateway between Europe and Asia. That is also under the control of British. And the other one is Strait of Hormuz. You have to note that Bab el Mandeb, everything is under the. It should not go under the control of the Arab nations, particularly Iran. Not Arab nation, Iran. So that's why in Yemen also there is a problem. Okay.
Okay.
There and all this entry point is there, small part is there, like a gateway is there. Big powers will influence that particular.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes, Rakesh.
Sir, is it audible, sir?
Yes.
Sir, will you please explain again about the first key issue between Israel and Palestine, the mistrust in mutual recognition?
See, mistrust means we there are two people are there, but both the people they don't have that means trust over each other. So like India, Pakistan going for a conference means bilateral conference means how it will be there. Both the party will do some mischiefs.
Okay.
Okay, so if you are going, see for example, India, Pakistan are going for a meeting to settle Kashmir issue means both the party doesn't trust each other.
Oh,
So
yes.
no result will be there at the end of the meeting. This is what happened. This is called mistrust.
Okay, sir. And my another doubt is, as you said, the peace initiatives between Israel and Palestine is not permanent; it's temporary. Is it essential to study in depth about the peace initiatives?
No. The result that means the result of the peace initiatives are failure, or it may that means how it is, sometimes people say that it is a success means success in terms of temporary truce. Okay, it led to temporary truce. That's all. Temporary compromise. Temporarily, there's people daily they are fighting with each other. No, temporarily they stopped fighting. That's all. No permanent solution. Temporary solution only was.
So we should merely study the year and the peace, Oslo Accords, and the
see, because it has not yielded any permanent solution. Just write that lot of peace initiatives were there. All the peace initiatives were failure initiatives. That's all. If
no need of deep.
No need to go deeply. Why means because no result. Then why you have to see? There is a peace deal is there means that is a historic deal, landmark deal that you have to note.
Okay, sir.
Peace deal. So no need to note all these things.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
A lot of peace deals were there from the Arab side, from the European countries. Like that, just write it. No issue.
Okay, sir. And also about the war between in 1948, 1950s, 1967,
19,
that also we have to study deeply, or else
see, what is there to study deeply? Arab countries led by Egypt, they fought against Israel.
yes,
Israel won the war. That's all. This is what you have to know.
all wars are won by Israel. That's all.
No, all wars are won by Israel. Particularly 1947, 48 war was won by Israel. That's all.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay, so they won't go into the details. What is the he put a bomb, that guy put a, like that? No questions will not be there. Okay, so don't worry.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
The result of the war is Israel.
Israel won the all
Arab lost the war. The combined Arab army lost it. That is
okay, sir. Okay, sir.
result is formation of Israel. That's all.
Okay, sir.
Vimal? Okay.
Sorry, sir, by mistake, sir.
Okay. Next, Archana. Yes, Archana.
Sir, I've already asked my
Hey.
question.
Okay, so still your hand is raised. Okay. Then Srivatsan.
Sir, good afternoon, sir.
Yes, Srivatsan.
Sir, can you explain about the
You are a
Suez
man
crisis?
of yes, you are a man of 1,000 questions.
Sir,
Okay.
can you explain about Suez crisis, sir?
Suez crisis was under the control of British. So these British people and Western countries, they blocked some loans to Egypt. So to retaliate that, the Egypt leader, what he did is he tried to nationalize the Suez Canal, which resulted in war. In that war, Palestine, Israel, UK and France on one side, Arab countries on the other side fought with each other. Egypt not only lost the Suez Canal, but also lost the entire Sinai Peninsula. This is the Suez Canal crisis.
Okay, sir, and you said that the Palestine refugees in Syria, Jordan, are they contributing terrorism over there, or they are just refugees, sir?
See, who is refugee, who is terrorist people, no one will know. All the Palestinian people are against Israel. That is the point. If you go and ask them, and they won't say that we are doing terrorism. See, they are being driven out of their homeland. In the circumstances, they wanted to again go back to their homeland. They can use any type of method in their whatever it is possible, they can do it. Okay. So how can we say that they are using? See, somebody, I am coming to your home and driving you away from your home. I have a big army. You can't do anything. So you are coming and fighting with me in an indirect way. Will you call that as a terrorism? Terrorism means unwantedly you are going and killing some other people in some other land. That is terrorism. You wanted your home back. That's why you are fighting. It is a freedom fight. You can understand. For the Palestinian people, it is a freedom fight. But for the Israeli people, since they are using proxy methods, they call them as terrorist people. That's all.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Then Shiva.
Hello, sir.
Yes.
Sir, if there is any previously Israel haven't any home state, sir? Israel Jewish people.
Home statements, Israel only. It was promised during, I am telling, thousands and thousands of years before, all are same people only. By the time Islam is not there, Christianity was not there. By the time all are same people only. But later, from that particular people, you have to note that Christianity was born, then Islam was born. The Jewish people, they moved to other places. They lost their land.
Okay, sir. Then
The Jewish people is Israel only.
When Jewish people went for trade, then Palestinians occupied
not only just for trade, because two religions are there, they will fight with each other. Frequent wars were there. That's why they were displaced.
Okay, sir. But before in ancient history, there is an Jewish people in Palestine.
See, in Palestine area, first you are missing the point that all are Jewish people initially. From the Jewish people only Christianity was born. From Christianity and Jewish only Islam was born. That is the understanding.
Oh, okay, sir. Okay.
Can you understand? See, root is same root. So in different time, different religion born out of that but same place.
It's may for politics, for power, they may alter.
See, politics and power, they will always go together. Okay.
I can't understand, sir.
See, politics always religion is involved.
Yes, sir.
See, in India, when king is there, who controls the king? See, the king controls the entire kingdom. Who controls the king? The Raja Guru.
Ministers.
Ministers, sir. Hey, என்னப்பா நீ
Sir, king na people.
King minister control பண்ணனா அப்புறம் எப்படி அவன்
King,
king
sir, king absolute power, sir.
நான் சொல்ற absolute power னு சொல்றீங்களா அப்ப அவன் தான டாப்.
ஆமா sir.
அவன் ஏதாவது முடிவு எடுக்கும்போது யார்கிட்ட கேக்குறாங்க?
முடிவு எடுக்கனா மினிஸ்டர்ஸ் கேட்பாங்க.
மினிஸ்டர்ட்ட கேக்குறது வேறப்பா. கடைசியா மினிஸ்டர்ட்ட வந்து he's consulting with the ministers, but he will ask the decision from the Raja Guru, who is a religious guy.
ஆமா sir.
Raja Guru one post is there, no? So he is for that. Whatever he says, the king will not. That means he will listen to his advice. With ministers, he will consult.
Okay, sir.
So like that, in Western countries, the kings will always consult with the Pope. Muslim countries, they will consult with the Imam or the religious leaders. So religion involves in politics.
Okay, sir.
No.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Okay. So then Pranav.
Hello, sir.
Yes, Pranav. Yes.
Sir, I have doubt about the formation of Israeli state, and
Okay.
I have been told that the partition of India and Pakistan has relation with Israel too, because before 1947, no other country was partitioned or created on the basis of religion. Apparently,
Okay.
no country likes Jews in 1940s except England.
Okay.
So the British Prime Minister Clement Attlee supported the partition of India and Pakistan in 1947. The very next year, Israel was formed in 1948. Is this view correct?
No, so don't link these two things. Okay. So British people are going, leaving that all the area which they are controlling, and then they're going back to their country. Okay. So this time in India, based on religion, already they divided the people and ruled the people.
Yes, sir. They deliberately created clashes between Hindu and Muslim.
But in Israel-Palestine area, you have to note that they allowed Jewish people to enter Palestinian land. So both the cases are completely different. See, the demand of separate Israel is a demand of thousands of years. But separate Pakistan demand is a demand of 4 or 5 decades only.
Yes, sir.
Okay, earlier to that, some more the Muslim League leaders like that. Both are completely different.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Thank you.
Then Vignesh.
Hello, sir.
Yes, Vignesh.
Sir, can you explain about why Israel want to annex the West Bank of Palestine, like 30%, because the West Bank is controlled by FAT group.
FAT group.
Hello, sir. Fatah group. Sorry, sir. Fatah group.
See, Jewish people are everywhere in Palestinian land. That's all. They occupied the entire Palestine. Some area Arab people are living. So that is the map I am showing. Okay, see this map. See this map. This is clear. Okay, 1917, entire region was under the control of Arabs. Now entire region is under the control of Israel. See, we need more land, no? So people are expanding. That's all.
Oh, yes, sir. But the
Arab people were confined only to this territory.
Fatah group want settle in peaceful way, no, sir. But why Israel wanted to annex it unilaterally, like forcibly?
Already they have done. Now they are not doing. Already they have done it. After that, only Fatah group said that now we can't fight against Israel. Now they came to a settlement. Then let us settle this issue peacefully. Already they have occupied the territory. Can understand difference is there. Already they have occupied it.
Okay, sir.
Now Fatah came to an understanding that we can't do anything against these Israelis. Let us go peacefully. That idea.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Then Shiva Priya.
Good afternoon, sir.
Yes.
Sir, I have a doubt. What is the stand of Christianity in that Jerusalem issue, sir? Because it is also a holy site for them, no? So, will they support Jews or?
Who are these Christians? European countries and US. They support Jewish.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Yes.
So they deliberately support Jewish for this.
Yes, they are supporting Jewish only.
Okay, sir.
Both are brothers only. Jewish are also brothers. Islamic community are also brothers only. But they like to be with Jewish.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Thank you, sir. That's all. Sir.
Okay.
Thank you.
And Revati?
So good afternoon, sir.
Yes.
I'm not clear with that Suez crisis, like
Suez Canal crisis. Yeah.
yeah, sir.
Okay. What is that you are asking? See. So this is see this map. So in this map, this is Suez Canal.
Yeah.
So Suez Canal was under the control of England.
Okay.
This England people only. See, Egypt was actually seeking a loan, building a dam in River Nile in Egypt.
Hello, sir. Sir, it's not clear.
See, Egypt was seeking a loan from World Bank.
Okay.
For building a dam in Egypt. So since Egypt and Israel are enemies, and Israel only control the World Bank because indirectly they only control all the finance.
Yes.
That's why Israel did not Israel using England and US, they did not allow the loan to be sanctioned.
Okay.
So that's why Egypt went angry and said, in that case, I am going to take my Suez Canal, which is in my territory.
Okay, sir. So they are gonna nationalize this. Hello, sir. Hello. Sir, am I audible? Oh, sir, hello. Hello, sir. കിട്ടുന്നില്ല, എനിക്ക് ഓർമ്മ നിൽക്കുന്നുമില്ല.
Hello? Hello students, I am back. See, actually net connection disconnected. Now I am okay. So if you have any questions, means you can ask now. If you have any questions, please raise the hand. I will answer. Okay. So net connection was there again. Now only I have solved the issue. Okay. Yes, Revati.
Hello, sir.
Yes, Revati. Yes.
Sir, sir was telling about the Egypt issue, about the Sinai Island.
Sinai Peninsula. Yes. Sinai Peninsula. Just to see this. Okay. Sinai Peninsula under the control of the Sinai Peninsula to Israel in the Suez Canal, Suez Crisis. And again in the 1967 war, again Israel gave the Sinai Peninsula back to Egypt. Okay, because Egypt accepted to Israel that here afterwards no war. Only through negotiation we will settle this issue. That's why.
Okay. So this Egypt area earlier before, was there any Palestine people like? Actually, who are the people in Egypt? Jewish or Islam? Okay, fine.
So all the people are there. See, earlier you have to note that the Jewish people actually they were living in Egypt only during the Pharaoh. Okay, so Jewish people are everywhere. See, Islam, Jewish, all are same people 2000, 3000 years before.
Okay.
So Jewish people are everywhere. Now they have become Islam.
Okay, so this Egypt area was once under the control of Ottoman Empire, right, sir?
Egypt also, to some extent.
Okay.
Ottoman Empire. I don't have the map here. Okay, so actually it's territory. Okay, that belongs to Ottoman Empire is only this territory. Okay, but maybe that. Yes.
Sir, told that only after the British occupied Palestine region, these Jewish people were able to enter into Palestine region again, right, sir?
Yes, correct.
So,
The
initially,
Jewish people entered.
So initially, sir told that Jewish were already there, inhabited there, then why did they went back? I mean, when
See,
why did they?
that we don't know. See, the problem, it is a
Okay,
very
sir.
long history, complex history.
Okay,
See, the
okay,
point
okay.
is, first they were Jewish. The Jewish people became Christians, and the same Jewish people and Christians became Islam. Can you understand?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So they are originally Jewish only. So that means today some Arab people are there. Means 1500 years before they are not Islam, because only after 1700 Islam became a religion. For them,
Okay, sir.
they will be Jewish people or Christian. That too before one. That means in BC and all, you have to note that everybody are Jewish people.
Okay, okay,
Jesus
sir.
is a Jewish guy. Jesus, Lord is there, no? He's a Jewish
Yes.
carpenter, like that only. So all same
Okay.
people only. In a different time, they converted into different religion. Their ancestors, all the Arab people's ancestors in that area, I'm telling, they are all Jewish people only. Does that understand?
Okay, sir. So, sir, this Suez crisis only led to Six-Day War. Is it right, sir?
Yes.
Okay, then it ended with a treaty.
No, Suez crisis is another war, 1962 war.
Okay, okay, sir.
Suez crisis, Egypt lost Suez Canal and also Sinai Desert.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And after the Six-Day War in 1967, Egypt again got back the Sinai Peninsula from Israel, because Egypt gave a promise to Israel that here afterwards no military sanctions, only peaceful talks.
Okay, okay, sir. So the
Okay.
cause of both these wars must be different, right, sir? The cause of both these wars must be different, sir. This 1962 war and 1967 war.
1962 war is a different war. 1967 war is a different war.
Okay, okay, sir.
Okay.
Anyway, both wars between this Egypt and Israel.
See, both is between Israel and Arab nations. Arab nation is Israel. See, when there is if there is a war against Jewish people, means Egypt will take the leadership. So you have to connect this with Moses. So what Moses did? Moses went against the Egypt king, Pharaoh, and rescued the Jewish people.
Okay, sir.
So the 2000, 3000 year problem now also extends. Can you understand? But now Egypt said that no more war, here afterwards peaceful solution only. Now Egypt is seeking.
Okay, okay, sir. I got it, sir.
Problem against Jewish people means Egypt will come forward because of the Pharaoh, the old problem.
Okay, okay.
2000, 3000 year problem. This one.
Yeah.
Moses fought against the pharaohs and crossed the Red Sea and entered into this territory and said that God only said you people to settle here. Like that Moses said, and Moses died. That's why the Jewish people call this territory as Israel as a God promised land.
Promise.
Okay. So you have to connect this with that Old Testament, that stories, Moses story.
Okay, sir. Okay, I got it, sir.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you very much, sir.
Okay. See, any other student have any doubt? Any other doubt? You can raise your. So today's class, what we'll do is any other question is there, means I'm waiting. So if you have, so no more doubts. Okay. So today's class is over. Next class we'll continue with how India sees this Israel Palestine. That we will see next class. Thank you.